Nice to see you here in front of me. We're going to be doing this in a kind of a lecture, but it doesn't mean that I will not as well partly involve you in certain elements that I would like to cover with you. So I'm going to be working quite proactively with you. It's going to take us around 1.5 hours to go through the content, which has been prepared by MDA. That's an Austrian consulting training company. I'm one of the partners who's involved in their business, and thanks to them, I have the pleasure to be here with you, in front of you, and to talk and discuss with us how remote working, how hybrid working is influencing our life, is influencing our commitment. So that's what the topic is all about. So it's about creating what challenges are we facing in front of us, what can be in the flexible world in which we are, first of all. Then what is the future of our work? Is it going to be more related to more remote, online, home office, or it's going to shift towards us coming back to the offices? Are we looking as employees for more flexibility in our day-to-day operations, and what strategies can managers put in place in order for us as employees to get involved in this, what business is bringing to us? So those are the topics that I would like to cover with each one of you. One thing without which we do not step out of our flats is what? Without what don't you leave your house? Without keys, but that's something what I would hear 20 years ago. Nowadays, without what we don't step out from the phone. Okay, so my request is probably each one of you has a phone, and probably this phone is as well a smartphone, yes? So you have a possibility now to start interacting with me, and that's my request to each one of you. Take out your phones, scan the QR code with the camera, or go to slido.com and punch in those 7 digits. And please try to answer this question. Maybe some of you, maybe not each one of you, but I'd love to see your input here. How does flexible work setup within your company support agile culture? And by agile culture, what I mean a culture which promotes cross-functional collaboration among us as employees. Practices that are customer-centric, focusing on the outcome and not necessarily on the output. That is agile culture. So please be so kind, type in your answers. Okay, the answers are coming in. A couple of more of you are typing. It was 4, now it's 5. I'm just giving you 1 more minute, okay? Thank you. Okay. Supporting team working from different time zones. Whose idea is that? Yeah? Okay, thank you. Any questions? Or we all can agree? That's realistic. By shifting responsibility down. Can you feel it, that this is happening when we are having a flexible work setup, that this does shift responsibility down? Not necessarily. Not necessarily, yeah. Okay, for somebody it is a good idea. That flexibility will support shifting responsibility down, but others might not perceive it this way. I'm as well among those ones who not necessarily do believe that staying far away from the office does allow me to take over more responsible tasks, because of the trust issue among me and my managers. But we're going to come back to this. We're able to collaborate with different branches of the company that are spread around Europe, Poland, without too much of a hassle. True? Definitely, yeah. Definitely, yes, that can be true. In terms of cross-functionality, it helps have international teams with all the skills needed all over the world. Yeah, we're working in a global community, I would put it this way, and definitely a flexible work setup does support this kind of space. No need to go to work. People open to meet earlier. What does that mean? People open to meet earlier. That means 7 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. or whose idea is that? And once again,
commuting to work and people are ready to meet at 8 a.m.
At 8 a.m. Okay, that's your experience. Thank you very much for sharing this with us. My company is extremely against flexible work setup, no agile culture support whatsoever.
That's me.
That's you. Okay. Why is the company against a flexible work setup?
Well, I work in Polish radio.
Okay. So let's say the local circumstances and the let's say the hierarchical culture which is in the company doesn't allow us to, let's say, work on a. Okay. We can talk to our U.S. clients in our evening, and with European clients in the morning. We have team members in different countries. True, definitely this is supporting one of the answers that I've seen already previously. I don't see any specific support. Can be like this. I'm not sure if it does. Yeah, easier and faster communication, flexible working time. Yes, definitely that's convincing me. Working from anywhere and anytime makes people more self-organized. Oh yeah, I can see that there are some doubts, Dominic, on your end. Yes, if I'm right. Me too. I would say, well, we can work from anywhere, anytime, but being self-organized might be an issue. I'll come back to this a little bit later during our presentation. It doesn't support it, but it also does not hurt it. It does not make any difference if we work remotely or on site. That's a perception of a manager or of an employee. Employee. Okay. And the manager's point would be? It's more difficult for him. So he would want to control, and for him controlling means that he would like his employees to work where? On site, not remotely. That's true. That's the behavior very often of our managers. It's easier to gather more teams at the same time for...
I have a question here. It's actually mine. The probably just read it. So why does it matter what the manager's point of view is in the context of supporting an agile culture? Is controlling the employees part of the agile culture? I'm not sure.
That's not one of the fundamentals of us thinking in an agile or having an agile approach. Yeah, whenever I'm thinking about agile culture, I'm thinking about us collaborating, us spreading the responsibilities, us taking the ownership for the tasks, us taking as well accountability for the projects. But to do this in our shoes as employees, there has to be a trust culture within the organization. And if there's not too much trust coming from the higher levels to the lower levels, this will not be realistically beneficial for us if we're working in a remote setup. Yeah.
All true. It's just I'm confused about why we're talking about this.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's one of the points which is here highlighted by one of you. Yes, it does not make any difference if we work remotely or on. No. Okay. So for you, there's no difference. Yeah, if you're working remotely or on site. Yeah, doesn't matter for you.
Agile culture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For managers trying to control employees, surely there is difference. It's just that I don't see it as part of the agile culture.
Mm-hmm. True, fully agree. Yeah, it's easier to gather more teams at the same time for large-scale group work. True, as well true from my perspective. Collaborative tools like Mural we can use whenever we're working in a flexible culture, or we are using the flexible work setup. Okay, I'll go back to my original presentation, and I'll go back with this what I have for us. Home office. It is here to stay. Let's be aware of it. Yeah, home office is something what will not be taken away from us. And any idea how much home office on average, and those are data which are from Western culture, and by this I mean Austria, Germany, Switzerland, how many home office do knowledgeable workers have on a weekly basis? Can you imagine? 8%? Well, it's 2.5 days in a 5 working day. Yeah, it's not Poland. Yeah, but it's a different area. And whenever I'm thinking about operative workers, how many do they have on a weekly basis? 0. It's not so bad. 1.5%. 1.5 day. So it's not so bad. And
don't talk about blue collar.
we're not necessarily talking about blue collars, yeah, who are working on sites, yeah, who have the job to be done. But some operative workers and the ones who are managing those operative workers who are in a position of a supervisor have this possibility to spend as much as 1.5 days from their homes. But according to the research done by McKinsey, more than 50%, exactly 55%, do not have access at all to working in a hybrid setup. And that's a worldwide based research. Of course, in North America and in Europe, it's a little bit better. In Africa, it's much less, and in Africa, it's less as simple as the infrastructure is not there, the internet is not there, and the industry is structured in this way that it's not possible. You know? So there are regions in the world where hybrid work is not possible at all. What trends are happening in the working environment nowadays? We can, and maybe some of you have heard about office peacocking as a trend. Does anybody know what stands behind office peacocking?
Make very fancy office.
Absolutely, yeah. That's making the offices in which we work in a very generous, stocked way, very fancy, having the buildings, trying to impress us. What for?
To attract people.
Absolutely, to bring the employees in a natural way back to the offices. But again, research shows that this is just office peacocking, not necessarily this is happening. And that's important for us to notice that if we have been already given this freedom to work from home, we're not willing to jump on that bandwagon and keep on going to the offices. So research done by OLabs suggests that 61% of employees in the Western culture believe that there should be a legal right to work from home. That's the expectations which people do have in the Western culture. Moreover, if hybrid workers were required to be in the office full-time, 33% would look for a new job straight away. 7% would immediately quit. No? Because it's taken away something what has already been given to them. Moreover, almost 45% of employees would be willing to give up 10% or more of their salary for a 4-day working week. Imagine this. Again, this is Western culture. Not necessarily research done in our country. Possible? Or expectation of an employee? Yes, it's an expectation of an employee. 38% of employees who work in hybrid mode engage in coffee badging. What is coffee badging, by the way?
I'm not aware of the term.
You're not aware of it, yeah. Okay, coffee badging is us really listening to the policy of the company. We are coming back to the offices, but for what? Just for a coffee. Yeah, so we love to go back to the office for those 2 hours per day, and we'd love to spend those 2 hours in the kitchen, and that's where we socialize. So we're not coming back to the offices to work, but we're coming back to the offices to socialize. according to the research. So this is something what we have to be aware. If we're trying to involve those remote workers to come back to their office, if that's a prerequisite. Yeah. And that's important for me as a manager. 43% of employees worry that their supervisors view office-based employees as more hardworking and as more trustworthy than the ones who are in the remote system. Yeah, so this is not necessarily something about control, I would say. It's maybe something much more linked to this, yes, I can see what you are doing. Maybe it's linked to the control element as well. I can orientate or I can manage in a different setup this what you are really doing because I can see if you're doing something or not. So managers need this to feel a little bit more secure, at least that's their perception, that we are spending the time on doing the projects and tasks which are necessary for the company to survive. But leaders, managers, are thinking this way. Let's bring those employees back to the office. Read those memos.
So how many hours per week do people in Tesla work? Jesus Christ, that's so hard.
Well, they are usually supposed to work much more than 40.
Yeah. So that's the idea of leaders. That's the idea of managers. That's the wish. Yeah, we want you back in the office. Yeah, we don't want those hybrid setups. We don't want those remote setups. So have this in mind. And once again, my request to you would be, let's jump into a Slido exercise. And one more question to you, if you could be so kind. And help me here, please. Does the sense of belonging suffer under hybrid work or not? You know? So roughly around 4 in terms of this, what you would like to support me with, having in mind your answers. So does the sense of belonging suffer under hybrid work? Yes. We're a little bit more on this curve. We're a little bit more on this side. We're a little bit more related to this, that yes, it does. In what way? Then I'm not surprised.
Less discussions that are not related to work. Normally, I would go and have a chat with people about kids and about their vacation, and during remote working it would basically be, what's this thing, what is this what you're doing, and I need this information, who can give it to me. So this will be purely work related rather than just a casual conversation.
Okay, you mean whenever we're in touch with a remote colleague, yes? So that would be...
in office, on site, you would be talking about casual stuff, while remotely there will be mostly work-related.
Totally right. Totally agree with you. And that doesn't necessarily support the belonging culture. Yeah, because we are, in the first place, human beings. So no matter how much the technology that is around us is useful for us, it is only a supportive tool. And that's something what we, as people who work, especially very close with technology, have to be aware of. The focus has to be on our people. We are still, in the first place, human beings. And as human beings, we have some pivotal needs that have to be fulfilled. What needs are we looking for as human beings to be fulfilled? Touch. Touch? Is this touch?
Yeah.
Okay. So can be so we're talking about contact. Yeah, you're totally right. And according to the research done by Klaus Grave, that's a German psychologist, he has mentioned 2 basic human needs that have to be fulfilled within the environment in which we are working or we are collaborating with. First of all, sense of belonging. So we.
And the other one is safety, I might presume.
Well, I would say that the sense of belonging is linked to safety. I want to be a part of a tribe. I want to be a part of a tribe, and that's something what will cause me to feel that I do belong to something what's valuable for me, or to the colleagues whom I can trust, to the colleagues with whom I can chat. And as you've said, it's so difficult to do that in a remote setup. I have time to talk about other issues whenever I'm in touch with those individuals, when I'm speaking with them in a on-site. And the other point is autonomy. Now I'm looking for this. I want this to be fulfilled. And by autonomy, Klaus Grave understands this, that I'm given freedom in this, how I will do my work. And then I can appreciate such a manager. Then I don't feel that I'm necessarily controlled, or this is a control, or this is an element of trust which is given to me by my supervisor. I need that to feel that I'm a fruitful employee in an organization. So sense of belonging and autonomy, we as human beings are always looking for this, no matter if it's an organizational setup or if it's a private family setup. It's the same need that we want to be fulfilled by us as human beings. So first of all, we as humans, then technology, which is just supporting us. Moreover, what can companies do today to save the world of tomorrow? That we don't fall into the trap that technology is something what's necessarily allowing us to work, but are we then still humans? Are we filling in those needs which have to be filled in for us to feel secure, as you've mentioned? It's because you've said that security is one as well of those elements that has to be filled in. Yes, we're looking for security in the first place. So according to research done by Gallup, that's a fresh research, we have to change the way that we do lead people. We have to be more humanistic in our approach as people who are leading teams. If we are leading teams, and we have to be humanistic whenever we are collaborating with colleagues who are in our teams. Moreover, Gallup has done a research based on different continents, and what I was interested in is this, how it is in Europe in terms of my engagement. How many employees in Europe are fully engaged in this, what they do?
15%.
Lovely. That's incredible. What is your name? Olex. Bravo for Alexi. That's very close, Alexia, and that surprises me because, well, you're close. I have to a little bit contradict this figure. It's not as high as you've mentioned. In Europe, it's only 13%. In Poland, guess how much it is? Because I have access to...
8 and 10,
16?
No, it's a little bit higher. It's 14, Engaged, fully engaged. So we're losing. Because people are not engaged. How many do you think that we do have not engaged? Half of them, 73, very close, 72, lovely. And those are quiet quitters. Those are quiet quitters even today, listening to you, just having a coffee break. So what's happening with me? Where am I today? Where will I be in the next couple of projects? Will it be this company or will it be a different company? And then we have those obstacles who are not quietly quitting, but actively not supporting the management of a company. Surprised?
How do we define engagement?
We got to ask Gallup, I would say. And by engagement, I mean commitment. And by commitment, I mean two elements. and that's trust to my leader. How much can I trust him as a human being? And then what is my belief in the sense of this, what I'm doing? So those are two axes which define engagement. Trust and belief in the cause, in the purpose of this, what I do. Those are two elements that can define our engagement.
So it's purposeful and meaningful work.
That's right. That's right. We can say it that way.
What does it mean actively not engaged?
Actively not, well, questioning. I would say questioning in terms of this, they don't see that the direction in which the department is going is the one that they would like to follow. Yeah, they're complaining about their managers loudly in front of others. They're not committed to filling in their duties, their tasks, their responsibilities. Those are the ones who are actively questioning the purpose of this, what is being done in the company, in front of others.
Is it bad?
Is it bad? Well, in from the point of from the point of view of a company, probably it's bad, because my wish would be to have the ones who are engaged in a very different, let's say, number than we have nowadays. Yeah.
If someone is actively not engaged in the way that you are saying, but complaining, and maybe they are just seeing that something is wrong and they are complaining about it. So if we would take this out of the equation, that we would have to have everyone being happy with what management is doing and nobody daring to complain about it. So I would say that complaining about how the things are going in the company isn't actually bad.
You're right.
As long as you are not abandoning your duties just to complain.
So totally agree. I totally, yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm totally with you now in terms of this, that it should be this way. The question is, what are the repercussions for the employees who loudly complain? If there's not a trust culture within the company, then this might be harmful for me as an employee. Yeah, and then I will be a little bit more politically correct, not to question this, what is happening, but I will be quietly or gossiping around the back of my manager about this, what is happening. If it's constructive from the employee side, I'm with you. Yes, then let's question the processes. Let's question the practices that are taking place. But there has to be a culture of trust within the company that we can learn out of this, what you are saying, and that the manager is not shutting our mouth.
Engagement that you are referring to has too fuzzy definition to be really useful, because there are many behaviors that would fall into engaged or actively non-engaged based on your definition. Well, I would say that someone who is complaining about things not going right is actually engaged and very actively engaged, that they say, okay, this is not how we should be doing, let's do it differently, because this doesn't work. So I would say those people are engaged because they care. Otherwise, I mean,
okay.
if I don't care about how the process is going, I'm not engaged.
Okay, and the definition, it's in terms of this, whom are those who are actively not engaged? Those are the ones who are quitting out loud. And by this, Gallup means those employees are directly harming the company, undermining their goals, and going against their managers. Those are the ones who are actively not engaged. Yeah? Yeah? So it's not about complaining. Yeah.
You complain among your coworkers and don't give any feedback to the company, but you would like to change some processes because they are insufficient, or you're not giving feedback to your manager. Well, it's this actively not engaged. But if you're giving feedback, I would say it's more between engaged and not engaged, because you don't agree with the company policy, but you would like to make it better. But it's two different
that's complaining, which is constructive, I would say, for the managers, if the manager is willing to listen. Yeah, but if he's willing to listen whenever there's a trust culture. within the company whenever his employees are treated like human beings and he sees their input as valuable for him in the way that he can manage the team for which he is responsible for. You know?
The question is why employees are complaining out loud and make something bad for the company. Why they are doing that?
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, they are doing that because they were not heard in the first place, complaining to their managers or some people that could hear them.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen different people.
True. True.
Not even talking to their managers, just being actively against their managers and the policies, not even trying to go to them.
Yeah, but
It's a psychological matter as well.
But I wonder if there is like some foundation or some way of company when you see that, if the company is actually fostering this process of going to managers and talking, or if company is doing actively something to
Gathering feedback,
make it easier for employees to actually complain.
Yeah, I can give you an example of my company. My company actively gathers feedback, but not many people give that feedback. Some people want to complain because they're just constructed that way. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. I would say that what is the reason behind it, and that's, thank you very much for your question, is that in the definition by Gallup, at some point the trust between the employee and employer was severely broken. That's one of the elements why they become actively not engaged. That's one of the elements. The second one is the employees might have been not properly prepared to fulfill their role. So they have been promised something else and they're doing something else. That's why they start being actively not engaged. Yeah, that's the definition. It's as well linked in one way or another to trust. You're totally right. Yeah, go on.
I've heard this weekend at school.
There might be people who thought they were fit for a particular position, particular role, but it occurred they are not because they would love to do something else, but they found out like 2-3 months or even years after they have started that work.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of
So
growing up.
okay, so it's a matter of growing up, as you say, or it's a matter of maturity, probably in other words, or it's a matter of this, that my expectations, which I do have from universities, are not necessarily the ones that the business can offer me. And that's why I do perceive this as well as an issue, that universities are so far away from this, what are the demands and needs of the business here in Poland. As you know, there is a reason why we don't have our universities in the top list of 500 who are recognized worldwide. Because we're so far away, we're too theoretical. We're not practical and we're not working close to the business. That's my experience as a Pole. And that's as well the research which can prove this, what you've just said and what I can only confirm. And moreover, I would say that 56%, more than half of the employees in Europe are thinking that it's a good time for us to look for a new job. This doesn't necessarily fill in as well this gap of us being engaged, because if I'm engaged, and why am I looking for a new job? Because of a higher salary? Because of not having the right atmosphere, culture within the company? Those are certain elements that invite me as an employee to look for a new job. 56%, that's a high number in my eyes. Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur for the last 20 years and I'm actively looking for new projects, but not necessarily for a new role or a new job. Moreover, the pandemic, which is behind us, has caused some certain stress in front of us. The ones who are committed to this, what they do, so the ones that are engaged, are not feeling so stressed in their working environment. Only 30% of them on a daily basis can feel stress. But the ones who are not engaged feel much stronger the stress in their workplace. That's as well an interesting data, because that only can support that, well, if I'm stressed, then I don't want to be a part of this culture. But it's a vicious circle. Yeah, where I'm not getting involved because I'm feeling more stressed. And so what? And then I'm looking for a new job. But research supports this, that if I stay within my company, I'm willing to get an increase of my salary up to 32%. But if I look for a new job, the market probably will allow me to get a higher salary of up to only 25%. So that's not necessarily a good argument for me to look for a new job if it's only based on my salary expectations. We have to be aware. But of course, if the culture is toxic in our workplace, it's a good idea for us to move out of that place and to look for something that can be supportive for me as an employee or as a manager. Because we as human beings exactly know what we want to change. Sometimes we're not willing to express this to our supervisors. They might not be open for us. They might not be listening to us. They might have their fixed mindset, which is in contradiction to my growth mindset. Do I need that? Do I need to share my thoughts with my supervisor, who's not willing to be a part of a culture which I can appreciate as an employee? And research only says as well that 41% of employees do feel that everyone in my company is recognized for their contribution. That leadership is more accessible and we can talk openly in our companies. Only 41% of employees. More autonomy allows me to be more creative, learn more, less work that is repetitive. Those are my expectations. And only 41% of employees does feel that they do have this in their working place. I'd love to be respected by my co-workers and my leaders. Those are unnatural expectations, not necessarily, but only 41% of human beings have this in their working space. Giving everyone a fair chance to be promoted, and not promoted because I'm a friend of not this rabbit and a friend of that rabbit. You know, clear goals, more support orientation is needed for me. You know? So only 41% of employees has this. That's telling a lot about the culture in which we are working nowadays. What about the second element, which influences us, our pay? And the benefits that we do get. Only 28% does feel that the salary that they do have is adequate to this what they are responsible for. Only 28% others feel that this what I do is not necessarily in line with this what I do earn within this business in which I am. Only 28% does know that they're getting punctual payment or can confirm this. And that the salaries are proportional to my knowledge, to my competences, to my skill set. Well, that's our expectations, and some companies do offer good canteen, fuel vouchers to support us, childcare, yes. Reward or extra bonuses when the company has extra results on a yearly basis. Those are our expectations, but only 28% can say that they have this from their organizations in which they are working. What about our well-being? Only 60% do feel that or does know or does get this, that, well, there might be some shifts, there might be some duty rosters, and I'm aware of this because my manager in a timely manner is informing me about this. I'd love to have, or only 60% does see that they have overtime as an element which is not a part of the culture of a company. We're looking for this as a perk, being able to work from home. Yeah, I'd love to eat in peace, healthcare, taking my health seriously. Those are the expectations of us as employees. A place to relax. If you're in a position of a leader, and some of you are definitely in this room, take under consideration this, that the majority of our employees are not committed, are not engaged. Be aware of them. And engagement is not synonymous to happiness. Now, there's a difference between those two words. This, that I'm engaged, means that I have the purpose, the work that I do is meaningful. But it's not necessarily the same as happiness. And I should, as a leader, take care of the group which is just behind those 13%. Those 72% of employees are the ones that I can influence as a leader, because I am in charge. I'm running that train. And I should take care of those employees who are quietly quitting. Just have this in mind. And I'm the one who's in charge as well for others' engagement. It's not about looking for my employees and them not willing to commit. It's about considering this, what in this how I do behave as a leader, what in this regarding this how I do communicate and behave influences this that people are quietly quitting. So, what can we do? Any ideas? Yes, you're full of ideas. I'm pretty much sure that you are, but just not to keep you here in this room.
Companies do now replace people with artificial intelligence, and you don't have all those problems with disengagement.
Okay, but that's far away from us being humanistic, I would say, or human-oriented. Yeah, we're robot-oriented, automating the business. Might work in some areas, but not necessarily in there where creativity is needed. You know, for repetitive work, you're probably right. But I do believe that we will be needed, and we are needed, and the expectations are that we can give a helping hand to the company which needs us as a resource. And we'd love not to be treated as an asset. We'd love to be treated, first of all, as a human being. And that's why I'd love to talk with you about us aligning and us connecting. And by alignment, I mean, I know what the culture is within the company in which I am working, and I feel that the culture within this company is the right one. So it's a good place for me. That's what I'm needing. And that's as well a reflection from my side whenever I'm being interviewed by others. It's not only about the money. It's about asking myself if the culture within the company will suit me. And then I might align. And then I'm willing to commit. And then I'm willing to be engaged. Moreover, connectedness. I feel that the culture is important for the company, for me, and I truly can live the values of this company, and the values of this company are close to my individual values, with which I'm coming to the environment which is for me an enigma still. And about office peacocking, which I've mentioned a little bit earlier, it's not about the location, no matter how good. That will not remedy poor management. Yeah, and poor management is not on our shoulders, it's about this how others are communicating with us. So what needs to happen is, and you have to be aware of it, that commitment is almost 4 times more visible whenever there's not so much stress within our working environment. I don't want to say that stress is not needed, because it is needed based on research which is coming back to the beginning of the 20th century, there has to be a certain element of stress within our working environment, because then we can mobilize our inner resources and we can commit to the success of our companies. But too much stress disengages me, doesn't allow me to get committed. And we need to ask ourselves if poor management is linked in the way that we have set our working environment and it's related to remote or hybrid work, or is it a managerial problem? I would say it's very often more a managerial problem than the setup of our flexible working stratosphere. How to create connectedness, be aware of it, yeah? Emotional closeness, bonding, linking with others, having a possibility to talk to others who have similar life situation that I do have, and not staying only in the artificial area of talking only about work at work. That's not supporting our emotional closeness. Microcultures. I've seen this in companies, that the culture in different departments is very different. And some that might be toxic, and others, it's working very well. It's not about the overall picture of how this company is organized. It's about the leaders who are running those departments. So it's much more related to this, how our leaders do communicate with us. And spreading culture through this, what we do, and not how the office does look like. So once again, ask for meaningful work to stay committed. Ask for purposeful work to stay committed, because only then I'm willing to engage myself and use my full potential as a human being. Who of you does feel that 100% of your potential is being used by your companies? Probably anybody willing to raise their hand? Is it 5% in some areas? Is it 10? Is it 15%? We can only guess. But we're willing to find a place where we can feel that our employees are supporting us and allowing us as human beings to use as much of the potential that we have, that we are given. Because that's one of the, as well, basic needs of us. We want to grow in terms of our own competences. That's for the good of ourselves, and that's for the good of our company. Once again, your phones, please. And one more Slido exercise. Any ideas are more than welcome from your side. So we have your answers. Fostering X-team integration. What's that? I'm not aware. Cross-team. Okay, cross-team. Okay. This I can understand. Anybody has this? Yeah, you have it in your workplace? Cross-team integration, yeah, somehow, okay. Recognizing your employees' teammates as equally capable or even better than you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we do.
That's you. Oh, that's wishful thinking. Well, it's hopefully it can be the reality. Even in yeah, it is. Okay, okay. In your company as well. Okay. Complaint box. No.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, I think that is in place in your company, complaint boxes, yeah?
You can make an anonymous box in the mail, for example. It doesn't have to be a physical box.
Mm-hmm.
It can be anything that allows you to leave anonymous cards.
Without your IP being detected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you have to log in first with your name.
Right. If you use Miro, for example, you are anonymous.
Once again?
I think that if we need to create a way to complain anonymously, something wrong with your culture.
Mm-hmm.
Because
you're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How can you, I don't know, if someone complains about a procedure, about something, how you can get more details, why it's bothering.
Yeah, what's behind it? Yeah, what's the second agenda? Yeah,
Explain why
True.
it's working this way. So
true. I would say so. It's very difficult if it's just an anonymous response coming from our team members. Yeah, we'd love to have it by your name, but again, if there are no repercussions. But that's again about this how management does treat their employees. Yeah, but you're totally right here.
It will be about people because not everyone feels comfortable complaining out in the open, and they may be more willing to share their opinion in the anonymous complaint box rather than personally coming and saying this is wrong, I think that this should be changed because.
And additionally, this is the real world, I would say so. Even if you think about great companies with great culture, always there is at least one team that is not following that, right? And the question is how to recognize that situation in other way, right? This is one of the methods to this anonymous.
I'm interested in the next point. Thank you very much for your ideas in the remote work, team building events, regular team coffees, and other knowledge sharing meetings such as lean coffee. What's lean coffee, by the way?
So it's from me. Since I work remote, I have no office. With my team, I mean with other teams, it's like cross-team events. We have something like lean coffee that people come with the topic. We vote on it and we discuss about the topic with some time-boxed manner. Then we vote again if we want to continue or move to the next topic. And that allows like the people discuss about the topics that they really want. They are maybe so much technical, some like news, some agile concepts, whatsoever, like no strict environment or agenda.
And it's working? People are coming for those lean coffees in your environment? Okay.
I mean, not all as you expect, but...
Not everybody has to, but this is well a part of a trust which you can show to others. But I love that one, and I'm willing to as well learn a little bit more about this because it seems that in your remote working environment, this can work. It doesn't have to be done on site. Thank you very much for that tip. Having meaningful conversations, I love this. Whose answer is this? Meaningful conversations. What do you mean by meaningful? What's that? What's the definition of meaningful?
Telling people why things you talk about matter to you, telling people about your intentions, your feelings, your needs, asking people for help.
That sounds like non-violence communication for me, and I'm on the same bandwagon as you are. Yes, it's about us being secure and willing to share our feelings and our emotions within the ones who are around me. Because then I'm not only in my cognitive box of my mindset, but as well I'm communicating through my heart and soul with others. That's at least what I do believe in. And I think that this is as well related to us having meaningful, powerful conversations. Thank you very much for that tip. Voluntary work days. What does that mean? That I don't get paid for this, what I do? Or
it's like the team building activity, for instance, planting trees.
Ah, okay.
It's organized by companies or
And there's a purpose, there's a meaning that we are a company which is living those values. And hopefully it's not only a 1 day per year policy, but we can as well live this, twice a year? No. Live this every day.
Yeah, that would be great. We have paid days of volunteer work per year.
Okay.
So we can take 2 days off as some working or volunteering.
I like very much the next idea from you, making people feel seen and heard. Whose idea is that?
That's mine.
That's yours, Philip. Okay. You're feeling this, or is that just a wish? Or is that a practice in your company?
From my direct manager. I kind of do, but then across the whole company or like the upper management, not at all.
So not everybody is living this, but it's visible as well or feelable in your environment. Thank you very much. Meet in person at least every quarter. That doesn't sound like a too big challenge for me. Sometimes it is. People need to work, collaborate together on the same task. Yes, true. Yeah, helps the bond. Yeah, helps to connect, helps to build the loyalty. Out of the company integration events, yeah, we've heard about your feeling about integration events. If it's properly run and your needs are taken under consideration, then I'm very much looking forward to joining such a.
Idea was perfect because I love it.
Once again,
Kayaking was perfect as an integration event.
Because you don't need to talk to other people.
No, you don't.
You do, but yes, but when you are traveling
When you
as a
have a
group,
purpose.
when traveling as a group, we were like 20-something people and traveling through lakes and streams. It was fun. We had some stops. We had talked. Sometimes being around two kayaks together. Sometimes just stopping. Sometimes helping people get out of the water they fell into.
okay.
It gives people a lot of things to talk together later.
Yeah. Great idea. The next one, strengthening culture of helping each other. What's behind this? Whose idea is this? Okay.
And if I receive help, this is one of the strongest connection to another person, human being, right? If I receive that without too much asking, right? If someone really wants to offer that. So if company, let's say, create the tool how to recognize that behaviors, if there is some possibility that those people are recognized, and this shows that we value that as a company, that helps.
Yeah, true. Totally with you. I would say it's not necessarily on the shoulders of the company, I would say, but it's more about us, how empathetic we can be, and do we recognize around us the ones who might need our support, and we're willing to just ask, how can I help you? What can I do for you?
But the question is how to encourage people to offer that, especially working remotely.
Okay. Then it's a different issue. Yeah, it's not so easy if we're just working remotely. Then it's on the shoulders of the organization or the company or the willingness of the manager to get involved in those personal issues that each one of us does have. Each one of us does have issues that we would like to talk through, not necessarily within our family environment, but as well with the ones whom we can trust. But we will open up only to the ones whom we do trust. And can I trust my supervisors? That's a question to which I'm not willing to give an answer now, because you only know this, not me. Yeah, pizza party. Okay. Allowing for career changes within the organization, reskilling to fulfill company's goals and employee personal goal. Yeah, true. Whose idea is that?
Mine.
Okay.
I'm doing that.
You're doing it. Okay, you're responsible. You're in charge for that.
No, I'm a person that upskills and reskills, doing still what I've been employed to do, but I'm also doing other things that are helping the organization. I started Green IT like 2 years ago, and now it's a big thing all around the world. I've also started diversity and neurodiversity initiatives at work, and it might be another big thing. And I'm thinking, if I really am in the right place in the organization, if I shouldn't move somewhere else. But it feels like the place I have within the IT allows me to work with so many different people within the IT and outside of it. I can help fulfill both my own goals in my current role and those roles I've I don't know, made up for myself as some extra roles.
Yeah, it sounds that you're not only satisfied, but partly happy within this, what your responsibilities are, yeah? And this can allow you to be engaged, yeah, because it seems that you have purpose, that it's a meaningful work for you, for the potential that you do have, and the company is using this for their benefit and your own benefit. Yeah,
yes.
That's great to know. Yeah, those are companies, because you're working in a Polish company, if I'm right, yeah? Yeah, okay. Sharing knowledge, learning from others. I love that. Whose idea is this? Oh, again you. Okay. No, great idea. What's the benefit of sharing the knowledge and having a learning culture, I would put it this way, within our organization?
Yeah, because especially in IT, everybody learns something. Usually it's small pieces, right? So encouraging people to... The challenge is that people usually think that there must be big presentation, big show off, right? Which is not true, in fact, and it's completely opposite, right? So for someone who learned, the benefit is that with socializing that knowledge, I have new connections in my mind. Sometimes I just repeat knowledge. Someone, interacting with me, inspire me with some new application of that knowledge, and for others, obvious, right? If I learn something with the recommendation, that is something.
Thank you very much for sharing this with us. We're as well learning here from you. And that's beneficial, I do believe, for the whole team, yeah, and for the agile culture here. Team building activities, yes, fully agreeing with this. And an interesting issue, one-to-one with manager's manager. Anybody experiencing this within their companies?
No, I
No.
don't think I wouldn't want.
You wouldn't want. You don't need it. Yeah.
I have something else.
You have something else.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have one-on-ones with my CIO.
You have with your
Because
CEO.
my
Okay.
superior doesn't quite understand what I'm doing, but my CIO does.
Okay.
And encourages it.
Okay. So then it's
Which is funny.
but then it's related just to the topics that we're covering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great ideas from your side. Something what I'd love to share with you as well as something from my end, how we can provide support. Building a hybrid community, not necessarily a remote one. So having in mind that being on-site can be beneficial for us as well. Just be aware of it. Yeah, that there are certain benefits for us as employees working only remotely, that we can move or we can shift to work in a hybrid community. Connecting with others as fulfilling this need of us belonging somewhere. That's something what I'm looking forward to. Me as a human being, already Maslow in the 50s of the previous century has mentioned this, that this is fulfilling this gap of us feeling secure and safe, that we do belong to a group of employees, and I'm willing to have this, promoting a supportive culture. Culture which can be just expressed by one of your colleagues, but it's definitely visible in other companies as well. Continuous development of processes and the organization. As I was speaking today with you about the culture, one more slide regarding culture. How can we promote the supportive culture? Some ideas. Does anybody hear this? That your bosses, your supervisors are capable of telling you thank you? That there's appreciation, recognition, and that they not only communicate with you when there's something wrong, but they do communicate with you when you've done something really good. Just good. Is it happening? Great. Great to have this. That's supporting the right path of us having a supportive culture within our organizations. Remembering this, that we need flexibility. And we do appreciate this, that there's trust given to us that we can work from our home offices and still be effective. But this means working sometimes on those mindsets of our supervisors who are not willing to give it to us. But let's be aware of it, that home office is here to stay. We're going to need those 2 days per week, maybe 1.5, maybe 1 day in the Polish culture, but we'd love to have it. Not only as a perk, but as an element which can fill in our needs of feeling appreciated. But inclusion on the other side, inclusion easily is happening on site. That's why Tesla or Musk is asking his employees, hey, I need you on site. Because that's how I do feel a part of a culture, and I need to see and talk to you on a daily basis, looking deeply into your eyes. Onboarding. Creating processes that we do feel that we're not only seen and heard, but we are being led in the proper way. Philip, you're smiling. Is there something behind this smile?
Kind of laughing about my company right now because I was supposed to get like onboarding right after I started, but it was basically you can do some training on like Workday and that's all. And then I was supposed to wait for 2 weeks till another Scrum Master came from his sick leave, and he would like tell me what to do or like how I am supposed to do my job in this company. However, nothing like that happened. It even happened that a new Scrum Master joined, and as I was also new, we kinda joined our hands together and we were onboarding ourselves, right, with our previous experience.
No. Yeah, that's the point, that this is what Piotr is thinking about already, and I would say probably this is as well in your mind. Is this culture the right one for me? Because what we see from the very first day does deeply evolve this how I will feel in the nearest months, if not years. And then there's not proper onboarding, not being taken care of from the very first day. When I'm totally vulnerable, means that I'm looking at a culture which is at least questioned by you. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for this not necessarily appreciated feedback about the place that you are working in. Having conversations, asking questions. Is this culture visible? Can I openly talk? Can I openly ask questions? Constructive questions, to my managers. Being a part of a town hall, having a chance to fill in a survey, having coaching sessions, having just communication, open dialogue with my supervisors. Is this happening? It should be happening, I would say it this way. Development options. Can I move forward? And it doesn't mean that I have to move forward in the hierarchy of the organization, because very often the places are booked above us, and that's fine. But is the company willing to give me options that will allow me to work on projects that are made for me or fit my needs, as you're having this in your company, Hania? You made it for yourself. Well, but that's encouraging us, because that sounds that you're already proactive.
They didn't not. Yeah. Let's say that. Okay. They didn't make it hard for me to do that.
Yeah.
But they didn't either allow me or help me with that. Sorry.
Fine. Creating safe spaces for dialogue. Safe space. So creating an area where I do feel that my needs are, that I'm listened to. And coaching and support for the Z generation, that's probably you. Maybe some of you are already in the Alpha generation. That's the one which is 2010 and younger. Some of you, probably half of you, are that generation, but that's And me, if I'm a leader, being a role model. Please do remember that we are looking at you as my supervisors. And I'm always asking myself, is this a person that I can follow? Can I trust this individual? Is this somebody with whom I could go for dinner? Can I do it voluntarily and it's my wish? So being a role model is very seriously, at least by me, perceived. And wellness, work-life balance. Is the company taking care of my mental health? Is there work-life balance? Philip, again, you're laughing. No, it's totally fine. I'm happy that you're not crying. Let me put it this way.
This is good.
But mental health, creating resources, giving me extra support, allowing me to really work maybe 6 hours per day, not necessarily 14, 16 is something that we're looking for, because we need that. We need to balance and to grasp energy within us based on this, that we're not only professionals, but we're as well having social life and private life. And I can only engage myself if my private and social needs are filled in as well. So that's why I'm looking forward to working in the company, or having a chance to look for a company where life balance is being treated seriously. And the end is near. One of the keynote speakers from New York, the end is near, but who are going to be okay? So where we're shifting, it's more on the side of this, how we're being led by the ones who are in charge of the companies. Thank you so much for your attention and proactiveness here. Thank you. Questions? 5 more minutes, I do believe. If there are any questions, feel free. Just go on. Anything that you would like to highlight, or maybe anything that you would like to comment, go on.
I have one question, because in the title of the meeting was how to retain the talents.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't touch so much, but do you see any special, methods or activities that are dedicated or especially important in relation to talents?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, I would say, first of all, so keeping our employees, keep giving them a possibility to, I would say that there are 3 elements that we have to consider, and I'm now relating to one of the models which has been presented by Detchi and Ryan. That's based on the British psychologist, and they're considering 3 elements that have to be filled in by us as leaders if I'm willing to keep those talents in my organization. They've noticed that those 3 elements, the first one is allow others to have a chance to grow their competences. So the work has to be challenging, but it allows me to fill in this gap that I not only feel challenged, but as well it's allowing me to grow my competences. That's one of the elements. The other element is take care of this, that they are provided autonomy. And by autonomy, I mean it's not only about this that I know how to do it. It's much more related to this, that I have the freedom of this, how I do it. So the freedom is on the side of the employee in terms of this, that it not necessarily has to happen on site. It can be done in the hybrid or the remote structure. And the third element is related to relatedness. And by relatedness, I mean that the person has to feel safe and secure in his working environment. So those 3 elements, it's quite easy for me to understand, because competence is autonomy, relatedness. In our language, it's CAR. In English, it's car. In Polish, it's car. So it's quite easy to remember. Detchi and Ryan model, which allows us to keep those employees in the workplace. But it's on me as a leader, as a tribe leader in your case, to remember autonomy, and autonomy means freely. Yeah. So it's about giving trust from my side that I trust you that you know how. Of course, you might set some milestones which will allow you to control the way that they're doing this, or have a policy of having open doors that they feel free enough to ask you, or to come to your office, or to phone you. A work which allows me to grow, so I'm filling in the gap of this, that my competences are evolving within the company, so I'm feeling better because my competences are growing. It's a natural trend in us and human beings. And the third element, I want to feel good in this team. And by this I mean it's about the atmosphere, but that means that policies are clear, that there's a high level of trust, that conflict is being taken care of from you as a manager, that I can feel really that I do belong to this group, and this group is valuable for me from the competences perspective, but from the humanistic perspective as well. A lot of elements, but in a nutshell, that's what I would take care of.
There's also another triad: mastery, autonomy, and purpose.
MAP, yeah, mastery, autonomy, and purpose. I think that you're reflecting now to Pink's element. Yeah, if I'm right, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, mastery, autonomy, and purpose. Yeah.
That was also referred as a thing for retaining talents, making people want to stay in a company. Sure.
What's behind mastery? Because it's based on Daniel Pink's book, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. What's behind mastery is that people continuously can improve. It's closely related to competences. Mastery is not that I have to do it perfect. It's about the outcome. It's about the output, but about this as well. That continuously I can improve in this what I'm doing, and my ideas.
Recognition of their competence.
Okay.
So it was like a bit broader.
Thank you very much for bringing this to the table. MAP, mastery, autonomy, purpose. Yeah.
I wonder, I have maybe some side question, but I wonder why there is value of autonomy, not, for example, the value of empowerment.
Good question. Very good question. I would say it is linked. I would say, and we can say. I would say that empowerment is an umbrella. Yeah, and it's very nice that you're bringing this into the picture, because we're talking about the empowerment culture, or the positive culture that we want to place, that we want to have in our place, and by it's totally on the same page. I would say an empowerment is about trust, which is given from us as leaders to our employees. But it's as well related to this, that I can see in the employees that they're not only assets, but as well human beings, and moreover, that this, what they do bring, that what they give is treated by me seriously as a leader. It's valuable for me. And if I'm empowered, then of course I'm building this engagement. And for me, it's a synonym element. The umbrella is empowerment. Totally right. Empowerment. It's difficult for me to find a Polish, let's say, word for this empowerment, because, well, anybody can support me in our local language. What would that be? We're all using empowerment as something what we might understand, but empowerment is related to this, that we empower others. But that means that I'm not only me as an employee, I'm not only responsible. I'm not only the owner of a task, of the process, or of the project. I'm as well accountable. And that's the difference between delegating and empowering, that we're building the skill set of our employees on accountability and not only on responsibility. Because responsibility is something, and again, I have a difficulty in translating those three words, which in Polish sound the same, odpowiedzialność, but in English there are three layers of accountability. We start from responsibility, ownership, and then there's the accountability as the highest element of those three elements.
Że ktoś będzie z czegoś rozliczony albo jest rozliczany.
But how does that sound? It sounds like control. It sounds like control. We don't need that. Or I don't need this as an employee. I don't want to be rozliczany. Yeah, I want to be empowered, and that means that there's autonomy and there's trust given to me, and I'll do the most to give the proper output and the outcome. Yeah. But thanks very much for bringing to the table that word empowerment.
I think the element that makes the difference is that I can decide how I'm going to do it. This is the element. I'm not given direct instructions how to do something.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
I can decide. This is the element.
It's always also empowerment and autonomy.
That's right. That's right. Well, if I'm given instructions, well, it's then we're talking about directive leadership, and you, as people who are already, let's say, years in companies, no matter that you all look very, very young. You too, Thomas. Need a little bit different way of communication. Yeah, you need to be coached, or you need to be delegated, or you need to be empowered, and not to be linked to this directive behavior, which is just training me and giving me a skill set which allows me to know how to do it. But I do believe that you already know how to do it, and you don't need this way of communication from your supervisor. But what I can see in young managers is that very often they fill in this gap that they do communicate the way that it should be done. So they're not relating to us as human beings, they're relating to this how the work should be done. Because they know very well how the work should be done, but they cannot relate to us as human beings, because digging into us as human beings is difficult. It's natural. You have to have those psychological, let's say, skill set, which is not always visible in the very first year of me managing a department. It seems that you're tired at the very end. You would like me to finish. Is that your wish, or no? Any more questions? Go on. Anybody else? Thank you.